This rebellion requires mourning. You will have to grieve the version of you that thought success was the only way to be safe. You will have to let go of the identity that fed on validation. You will have to stop performing even if people don't clap anymore. And yes, some people will fall away, because the version of you that appeased everyone, over-delivered, and sacrificed authenticity for approval, that version made others comfortable. But you're not here to stay comfortable. You're here to become whole. And wholeness is messy. It doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it looks like quitting the job that pays 6 figures but costs your soul. Sometimes it looks like saying no when you've built your life on yes. Sometimes it looks like sitting in your own pain without trying to turn it into a productivity hack. You will have to confront the part of you that believes you are only as valuable as your output. You will have to unlearn a culture that told you burnout is noble, perfection is power, and emotions are a liability. You will have to trust that being, not achieving, is enough. But here's the reward. When your success is no longer a shield for your trauma, it becomes a channel for your truth. You begin creating from love, not lack. You serve from compassion, not compulsion. You lead with purpose, not performance. And slowly, your nervous system begins to feel something it hasn't felt in years. Safety. Not the safety of control, but the safety of inner alignment. You're no longer running. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer performing for a world that never learned how to love people beyond their usefulness. You've stopped climbing someone else's mountain and started walking your own path. This is the rebellion. A rebellion against the story that told you survival must look like success. A rebellion against a society that rewards trauma and punishes stillness. A rebellion against your own silence. And it begins, not with a grand gesture, but with a whisper. I don't need to be anything more than I already am to be worthy of peace. Section 5. Your ultimate truth. You're standing in a room full of your past selves. The overachiever who skipped meals for deadlines. The teenager who learned to win love by performing. The child who interpreted silence as abandonment. The adult who never felt safe enough to slow down. They are all looking at you, not with blame, but with recognition. And you realize in that moment, you were never broken. You were adapting. You were surviving. Success was your armor. Elegant, shiny, culturally praised, but it was armor nonetheless. And now, you no longer need it. This is the ultimate truth. You are not here to be impressive. You are here to be free. That sounds simple, even cliché, until you realize what it demands. It demands that you give up the illusion that your worth is conditional. It demands that you surrender the addiction to being more. It demands that you stop outsourcing your self-worth to applause, followers, income, or reputation. It demands that you heal. And healing doesn't mean becoming someone new. It means returning to who you were before the world taught you who to be. The moment you truly absorb this, not intellectually, but somatically, spiritually, everything changes. You no longer chase success to escape yourself. You succeed as a byproduct of knowing yourself. And this is the paradox the world rarely tells you. The most powerful, sustainable, and life-giving success emerges when you no longer need it. Because when you're no longer driven by fear, success stops being a means of control and becomes an act of contribution. You are not trying to fix your past. You are expressing your truth. You are building things that matter, not because they prove anything, but because they are meaningful. This is the shift that burns through generations of trauma. You become the one who ends the cycle. Not just for you, but for everyone who comes after you. Your children, your community, your inner child. You become the one who says, success is not my redemption story. It is my creative expression. And the irony is, the world will still notice. You will still rise. You will still lead. build, speak, write, and succeed. But now, it won't cost you your soul. Now, it will heal it. You may even return to some of the same goals. The book, the business, the art, the vision. But you return as someone new. Or rather, someone ancient. The version of you, untouched by fear, unshaped by trauma, undefended by persona. You become a vessel for something deeper. And that depth cannot be ignored. People can sense it. They don't know what changed, but they feel it. Your energy becomes undeniable. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally not trying at all. You're just being. And in a world built on facades, being real is radical. That is the final transformation. Not success is performance, but success is wholeness. Not climbing to escape the past, but rising because you are rooted in the present, not driven by what hurt you, but guided by what heals you. This is no longer about goals. This is about liberation. So the next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, ask, to whom? Who told you that rest was laziness? Who taught you that love must be earned? Who made you believe that your softness was weakness? That your anger was shameful? That your worth needed metrics? Trace the voice back. Unmask it. And then gently, lovingly, let it go. It is not yours. You are allowed to want more without being afraid of less. You are allowed to stop, even when the world tells you to run. You are allowed to be ordinary and still be whole. And perhaps the deepest truth of all, you are already enough, even when you're not achieving anything. Sit with that. Let it shatter you. And in the ruins of everything you thought success meant, you will find what it actually does. Not power, not perfection, not performance, but peace. And in that peace,